Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek. Microsingularities give Trip and Reed an adventure they won't forget without even leaving the Shuttlepod. They're tight on oxygen, loose with the bourbon, and do something inventive with mashed potatoes. Plus, they freeze their asses off, all while learning about courage, heroism, friendship, and something they have in common with the waitress from the 602 Club.
Oh my God. These were so good. Oh, man. Okay, you need to tell that pilot to make sure that he goes by and grabs another dozen of, what was those things? Krispy Krems? Krispy Krems?
We're on. Lights on.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for another episode of Starfleet Underground. My name is Captain Nathan Adams aboard this wonderful Defiant class vessel. And we're constantly under cloak and just had somebody drop off these, oh my God, so delicious confectionery circular things with holes in the middle that are just amazing. Really all nice and warm.
I believe they call those donuts, Captain.
They're donuts, Captain? They named something after my rank. It's so cool. I like more of these donut captains. They're really enjoyable.
They're more like the empty hole in your head.
Oh
my God. They look kind of like the cushion you sit on when you're in your office.
Yes.
Except a lot bigger. So I think that's
custom seating.
Cool. Yeah, it's really cool. Okay. And just like your thing you sit on, it also has a glaze on it. So there's that. But it's very good. Okay. First off, we have our full crew today. We have our wonderful science officer.
Hi, I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer, and Captain, the Tribbles have gotten into one of the boxes of these desserts, and they are going haywire. How much sugar is in these things?
No, they get sugar highs.
How many boxes did we get?
That's
we got multiple boxes, right?
Yeah,
they're not stored next to each other, right?
Because that like multiple orgasms.
Got to keep them away from the Tribbles.
Well, we also have multiple Tribbles, so watch out.
We got to be careful. Oh, rumor has it, I'm not sure, that one of the Tribbles somehow got onto pods and may wind up being at the Vulcan embassy and another at the Klingon homeworld, which may have or may not have caused an international incident.
Intergalactic incident.
Yeah, intergalactic incident. So be on the lookout for them, Heather.
Hi, Captain.
They might be sending postcards because they're evil like that. So we'll go ahead, our science officer, finish introducing yourself.
I'm Patrick. I'm number one. I'm the ship's computer guy, and I'm the foreign species liaison. How you doing?
And last but never least, our engineer.
Hello. Hi, guys. How you doing? Rocky, the engineer of the ship and the show. And gosh, I do like these donut things.
And thank you for our Patreon people. The show's brought to you by our Patreon members in Section 31. Shout out to Dominic. He decided he wanted to be able to see the crew nude, so he went there. So he increased his Patreon membership.
What a pervert, just like us.
So
welcome to the crew.
So
disgusting human. I love him.
Yes.
So there's that. Yep. And we have, of course, Lana is still our membership, and we're getting more people. And thank you for those that show up, like Pimpin' That Hoe. Thank you for listening to us. We love it when you guys show up.
That's my rap name.
No wonder I keep hearing those noises. I thought you're moving furniture. You're trying to beatbox. So this, again, we don't have any guests this week. We had a cargo pilot for our resupply actually drop by with these little crispy things, which was really, really good.
We will have a guest in 2 weeks.
Well, technically he was our guest.
It's just not on the show.
Oh, that's true.
Be our guest. Be our guest. Da 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 da.
Well, this is true. It was our guest for that, so that's a good thing. Man, what the hell just happened to my display screen? Is there Tribble underneath my
Since
panel?
that plasma storm we flew through the other day, everything's a little bit wacky. You were talking about that dot bot that was I got a picture of your crotch. It was on the outside of the ship when we were going through the plasma storm. It got zapped pretty hard. And for some reason, its programming said it needed to get a picture of a hot banana. And it was out of its circuited mind.
Oh, my God.
It also searches out rancid smells on the ship.
No wonder it's been following you then.
That's why it was in your crotch.
Oh, jeez. Well, no, it was in his crotch because Rocky fixed all of the replicators I broke, so they weren't spitting out the hot bananas anymore. They had to go somewhere else.
They had to go for an alternate source for hot banana.
Oh my God, that explains so much.
Little.
No!
It didn't say hot throbbing banana, so I guess,
With veins and
Who put the helmet on a banana?
Well, that explains its behavior because the other day it was running down the hall going like, I'm just a sweet little tot pot from Transylvania.
Oh my God.
And then it would spin around.
Is that why he was wearing your lingerie?
No, please, it was yours. It's like those are Patrick's garters because it has his little rank on them in his face.
Oh my God. They did Time Warp on the Name That Tune show earlier in this week, and I couldn't help but not think of what Patrick would be thinking right there. I mean, I'll name that tune in so many notes, and they're like,
I love the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I've played Rocky. I played Brad. I played Frankenfurter.
Janet.
I've played.
He's played a lot. He likes to play.
Yeah, I've seen it a gazillion times.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to be in New York at the Waverly Theater when they showed it, so that was quite fun. To see it back in the day at the actual theater. So that was nice.
So nice tangent. Let's get back on track.
Yeah, I got totally off track. I was getting ready to say that. Oh my God, calm down. Dude, first off, I'm going to find out since you already spoke up multiple times. We have any corrections?
I didn't see anything come over subspace, but let me check again real quickly.
You're always coming over subspace.
And anyway, nope, we are clear as a bell.
Outstanding. We are now again incident free. Get a change in number in the galley there for incident free. People think it's because of no galley fires, but no. We get galley fires every day.
Yeah, no, they think it's people getting sick from Heather's cooking.
There's another sign for that.
Yeah. So it's actually for corrections. So
Hi, Captain.
Good. Next is news. We got any news this week, Heather? You had anything for us?
So my news for this week is the first teaser trailer for Lower Deck Season 2 is out on YouTube. If you guys want to see it, it's only 30 seconds, but oh my gosh, it's so exciting. I'm so looking forward to the second season.
Oh, I'm going to have to punch that up because I haven't seen it. Outstanding. And how about you, Pat? You got any news for us?
Yeah, I got two little snippets here. So Michelle Yeoh was a guest on the Pod Directive, the official Star Trek podcast. And when Paul Tompkins asked her what's happening with Georgiou after she went through the Guardian of Forever, she said that she talked about what it was like to be going through the portal and how the portal is giving you a second chance and determines if you're worthy of a second chance. But she said that she believes that there are still plans for her to return to Star Trek, but she doesn't know quite yet how that is going to come about. And the second piece of news is a little bit on the down, a bummer, but Olympia Dukakis, you might remember her from Steel Magnolias and Moonstruck, when she won an Oscar for, has passed away.
Oh, well, it's sad news. She was a really good actress.
Yeah. And she was related to Michael Dukakis, who also, you might recognize that name, who once ran for president.
Yeah, if we have any listeners that are old enough to remember that name, I don't know how we're going. Oh, which brings me to this point. If you're a little kid, I want you to come near the speaker right now. That's right. Cuddle up. All right. Get the fuck out. You can't listen to us. You gotta get out of here.
You're banned.
Because we just genetically modified bed bugs to eat your genitalia. You're gonna wake up with no parts. So you gotta get out of here.
This podcast is not made for kids.
We're very dangerous for kids to listen to.
Yeah.
The other week, Nathan was going to come and kill them personally. I mean, Jesus Christ. Now we've got killer bed bugs.
If kids listen to us, they stay up all night asking very awkward questions.
So they can't do that. That's a no. They will crawl into your bed and you'll think that it's the blanket, but it isn't. It's the bed bugs. And it'll be noshing on your naughty parts. So no, don't listen. It is not for you. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, hopefully they ran out of the room screaming. Oh, and if they point on to the parents, if the parents come into the room, hi, mom and dad. No, we didn't threaten the kids at all. Seriously. I don't know what's going on. You know, kids have vivid imaginations. We're a clean podcast. That's okay.
With an explicit rating.
Yeah,
That's right.
with a bunch of subspace communications about parents being like, I let my kids listen to you for 2 seconds.
And so please, we're just very wholesome and entertaining. So turn us off right now and go ahead and take care of your screaming Mimi. All right. Next, we have Rocky. You got any news for us?
Screaming Mimi? Is that a drink? Can I get a drink? I'll have 2 of those.
That's what kids do when they run around. They're always so self-centered and narcissistic. They hurt themselves. Look at me. I'm hurt. I'm bleeding. Me.
Ah, yes. Gotcha. So news this week was very interesting because a lot of the tricky news came out was a little bit more rumor and, speculation. And I kind of wanted to it's cool, but I just, and then the pictures starting to show up. If John Delancey says one more thing about Star Trek before his stuff starts to air, I swear we're going to have to put a quiet order on that guy. But he's talking about how many seasons are coming up and what Q's doing. The other thing was there were some pictures of some Star Trek Picard actors on a bus you may have seen appear on the subspace. They're in production. They're doing things. We're getting pictures taken because people are out there on the streets seeing things happen. And it makes you speculate, what's this time travel thing all about? But I'm just ignoring all those rumors because I'm like, no spoilers, la, don't want to know. And the solid news, I wasn't really feeling the solid news that much this week. What I was feeling was when Star Trek creeps into my other worlds, like my regular ordinary YouTube watching that's not supposed to be Star Trek related. I was watching this guy, his name is Dr. Mix on YouTube, and he's one of these studio musician guys that he's got all these synthesizers and he plays music, and he's a very entertaining guy, a little bit of a wacko, but everybody on YouTube kind of is. In fact, we're on YouTube sometimes too, right? But he covered the Star Trek theme and like the TOS theme, but like the cartoon version. And it was kind of cool because he's let me play a little bit of it here. Doesn't that sound like the actual?
Yeah.
That's just him on a synthesizer.
It was really close.
It was very cool. I'm not going to play the whole thing because you want to go on YouTube and watch it all.
I get chills whenever I hear that.
Isn't that great? Mm-hmm. And then it breaks into the classy the 70s cartoon style kind of Star Trek sound. But he played it, and then he took the song apart in front of you and played the individual pieces. Says, here's this, I use this sound for this and I use this sound for that. And at this point of the song, this is what this is doing right here. And you can watch a musician go through the things that musicians do when they play music and they understand what it's doing things in a certain way emotionally. And it's just incredibly cool. He breaks down a part, just a little part toward the end. He takes like a full on minute or so, just on a couple worth of notes, a couple chords. And as a musician, it kind of you nerd out about this stuff. And I just dig that when a musician like goes hardcore nerdy on something like Star Trek like that. I just thought it was really cool.
Awesome.
So I'll put a show note on there and maybe even retweet that one out.
Cool. That is pretty freaking cool. And as for me this week, I think I am newsless because things are mostly quiet and I have an outstanding crew. And so they've covered a lot already. So that's a plus. Now we get into why you guys are probably here other than for our witty banter and great interpersonal play here is the show. So Heather.
Hi, Captain. So this week's episode is Star Trek Enterprise Season 1, Episode 16, Shuttlepod 1. It first aired February 13th, 2002. Teaser, a turn for the worst. Reed and Trip are surveying an astrofield using the one and only shuttle Enterprise brought with them when it starts to break down. No worries, they have plenty of time since they're waiting for their ride from Enterprise. They give each other some friendly shit as they discuss traditional books versus comic books. Out of the blue, Reed spots wreckage from a spaceship on one of the asteroids. Oh no. And we clearly see a piece of a ship hull with the -01 markings that is so familiar to Enterprise. No! Oh, everyone is dead. Ah!
Okay. This is 2 guys, 1 shuttle pod. 2 guys, 1 shuttle pod.
2 girls, 1 cup.
Not going no.
Okay. Just
it
say
is the only shuttle pod Enterprise has.
There's supposed to have been another one, but
I think they have a couple. They always go with good old number 1 because it's old reliable, right?
Yeah, it's like, what the hell? It's like, okay, we have the 1 pod. No, we got 3. How about this week? No, it's just the 1. Where did the other 2 go? Disassembled?
Well, we'll see if they have any more shuttle pods after this because they we'll go into it later on in the episode, but we'll see.
This was a classic example of, did you remember where you parked your starship?
Dude, where's my Enterprise?
The thing that I would have got, this is what you get when you have an away mission with no science officer on that, because I know Heather would have done this right off the bat. They looked out the window. Oh my God, that's the wreckage of the Enterprise. There's an NX thing on it. The science officer went, I just scanned. The debris isn't enough substance to be the entire ship.
But they didn't have scanners.
The scanners were out. Yeah.
Oh, it's like somebody just peeled off the nameplate.
Yeah, but if you've seen some crashes and wreckages, I can relate to this the way they felt, because you can really get fooled. The amount of destruction that happens. I mean, you want to get gnarly when they plowed some of the airplanes into the ground on 9/11. It was just a crater on one of them.
Yeah,
literally no semblance of an airplane whatsoever.
Well, the same with the buildings. I mean, you know.
It messes everything up. And if you've seen cars devastated by accidents, I grew up with my dad working for a towing company. So I've gotten to see vehicles that have been in some horrendous accidents. And you're like, I don't even recognize that this looks like a Honda Civic anymore because it's split in two and I can't recognize either end of it. It's pretty devastating when things get really fucking wrecked. You can't tell.
Like Nathan's face.
I will give them the benefit of the doubt, like most people give Patrick's ass. So there is that. So I will give that. But it looks like they're on there. They see it. And that's beginning of a really good two-man show, basically.
Well, I thought it was funny when Reed's like, when they start, bickering back and forth, and Reed's like, well, you read those comic books and those ridiculous sci-fi novels.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was like,
hey,
I think they're pointing toward us, the fans watching the show.
Well, I'm sitting there thinking it's 2151 and they don't even mention a Kindle. They don't even mention audiobooks. I mean, hello, we have more options now.
That's true. Why aren't they listening to a podcast?
Right, why aren't they listening to like
all
our
the
podcast?
things you can do on a long shuttle ride? Like what? He's got a book, and the other guy is he just wants to look out the window and fix stuff.
Hey, Rocky, can you send them a link to our podcast next time?
Right? Yeah. Here, let me send you guys a link to something. You might enjoy this for a few hours.
Seriously, they should have been listening to us. And what's great is Enterprise have no children on it, so that's even better.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that'll work.
Well, if there had been children, all those little microsingularities probably would have snatched them away.
Next section.
That's going to be in the next. Wait. Get out of my quarters. No, you cannot play ring toss with it. Oh, I'm putting on pants. Get out.
What's happening over there, sir?
No, the Dot One came in with garters on and trying to do ring toss with the Krispy Kremes when I'm standing up in my quarters. So no.
Oh, there's a visual I didn't necessarily need to see.
So
that'll ruin your donut.
That may or may not even make it into Patreon. So we're gonna have to see.
Oh, man.
Oh my God. Okay, let's move on to the next section because I just locked the door. Go ahead.
Hi, Captain. Moving on to the next section. Act 1. Pick a spot, any spot. So storyline B, we immediately see that the Enterprise is alive and well, and we get an explanation for the crashed ship. In a nutshell, it's someone else's ship and everyone's okay. Although Enterprise did lose some hull plating. In fact, their biggest problem right now is that they need a painter to go outside and paint a -01 back on their ship.
Paint crew.
Storyline.
Is the paint crew like the pit crew from RuPaul's Drag Race?
Pit crew. Storyline A. Reed and Trip think the Enterprise was destroyed with no survivors, and with only 10 days of air left, they discuss their options and decide that going somewhere was better than going nowhere.
Yeah, this whole episode is like this. It's like, can we be friends when we're so different?
Oh, that's
I thought you were going to say this whole episode was about miscommunication.
Well, there's that too. I remember this episode so fondly because it hit me emotionally back then. And the two guys trapped in a confined space thing. You got movies where two guys are stuck in a submarine, or two guys are stuck in an elevator, or stuck in traffic. I don't know, but
isn't one of those like called Brokeback Mountain?
I still haven't seen that one.
No, that's they're stuck in each other.
Oh, is that a song, Stuck on You? I heard that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I remember this, and it's amazing to watch this because there's two actors in a space, two guys in a box, and they have to entertain you for an hour. I really enjoyed it. And then the other night, Netflix is on. I got Netflix going, and it's like, here, you need to watch this movie called Stowaway. I'm like, oh, it's a space movie.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, I'm not going to spoil the whole thing.
Was it worth watching?
A lot of it was, but a lot of it, this episode of Star Trek was better. They did the lack of oxygen thing a lot better.
Okay.
So that's kind of what happened in that movie. And I'm like, Enterprise, I just watched the Enterprise episode. And it so some of the things rang equal, but I think Enterprise did it better.
You said Stowaway, and the first thing I think of is Wilson.
No. This is Anna Kendrick, Daniel Day Kim, and Toni Collette.
Yeah, it was good acting. Great acting.
Cool.
And boy, the effects budget on that show, the sets. I mean, the space station sets on shows are getting to look really, really accurate now. I've been watching a little bit of NASA TV lately, and because there's a lot of space shit going on right now. But
don't talk about Nathan's ass like that.
Just
you need to stop.
Yeah, the sets looked fantastic on shows like this. They're nailing the look of spaceships. And I'm wondering, is that something that's just easy to do, or is it something that they've just gotten good at?
They're getting nailed by a spaceship?
Well, it's something they didn't tell when they built the shuttle, because that place looks sparse and in tight quarters. That's for certain.
Yeah. Well, it's neat when you watch them do the tours of the space station over the years. They're really packing a lot of stuff in it, looking pretty clean now, but they're packing a lot in, even though the place has gotten bigger. I find that interesting. But anyway, we're talking about two guys in one Shuttlepod.
Yes.
November 9th, 2151.
Yeah.
And I guess we can move to the next section, because I think we might have milked this one pretty good.
I just wanted to say something about that, because
there's more milk.
Yeah, there's more milk. Okay, so
it's curdled, but there's more.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I heard it's better than yours. But anyway, you think you found the ship, and it's imploded into the asteroid, and there's nowhere to go because space is freaking huge, right? I mean, it doesn't make any sense to just up and leave, really, because you're not really going to get that far in the first place.
Well, plus they only have impulse drive, too, so,
Yeah, so, but the other thing is, can you verify, aside from one panel and a bunch of wreckage, can you actually verify that was the ship? I would can't we just wait it out a couple days? If they waited it out a few more days to see if Enterprise was there, and it doesn't come back on the scheduled time, then yeah, they're toast. But
wouldn't they be able to shouldn't they have been able to set down on the asteroid, and don't they have some, EV suits?
Maybe they didn't bring the EV suits this time. That they had a lot of stuff in that shuttle pod, by the way. They had a lot of cool stuff. True.
All that booze.
I just figured they were like, something's better than nothing, so we're just going to start heading in a direction, because we're going on impulse, which is like a snail's pace. So if Enterprise is alive, then they could catch up to us really fast. Yeah. That's what I was.
What happens is they end up moving, and they end up running into something again that's already caused them trouble.
So basically, wait, are you saying that they should have followed the age-old rule that children learn is, if you're lost and you can't find your parents, don't move. Don't go anywhere.
Maybe. Just stay right where you are.
So we actually should have kids listen to this. Okay, if you're a kid, don't go anywhere.
Blow up the impulse engines and
Next section.
Sorry.
Stay right there, and we'll have a Tribble in lingerie come and meet you.
Oh my God.
Okay,
that means two different things. I think you're talking about the lingerie department, but no, we will literally have a Tribble in lingerie come and meet you.
It may or may not be singing stuff from RHPS. So. All right, might as well go to the next section.
Aye, Captain. Next section. Act 2. Peeved. Trip gets to know Reed intimately as Reed spends all of his time recording goodbye vlogs that are way too TMI, full of regrets and dying wishes. Trip snaps, and they bicker like college roommates forced to live in a dorm together during quarantine. They end up sitting down to a peace offering of microwave dinners. Unfortunately, Reed didn't learn Trip's trigger and starts recording hours of vlogs again while Trip is trying to go to sleep. Trip goes full Hulk and forces Reed to get some sleep. Reed couldn't complain since he ends up having a wet dream about T'Pol, which was rudely interrupted when some tiny black holes shoot through the ship like invisible bullets, hitting the oxygen tank and causing a leak. think. Reed MacGyver's that shit with some mashed potatoes. And now they only have 2 days left of oxygen.
Okay, two things. One, Tucker says, you don't want to spend your last 9 days with me while I'm cranky.
Yeah,
He's
you
already
don't want to
cranky.
see me when I'm cranky.
He's
like,
already cranky. I'm like,
You
oh
don't
my
want
God.
to see me when I'm angry. I'm going
was
to turn
totally
green
Hulk.
and bust out of this freaking Shuttlepod.
I mean, I would be like, dude, shut the fuck up and start typing. Can they still type in the space in future?
Don't they have a pad with them?
They got so many buttons on that ship.
With noise canceling headphones? Where the hell is the noise canceling headphones?
The second thing is, how do you fucking MacGyver a black hole in a ship with mashed potatoes?
Oh, don't even get me started with that.
It wasn't, the black hole wasn't in the ship. It passed through it.
Yeah, but
So it
that's
caused a
why.
hole. But
How
still,
do you
don't put your
plug a
finger-
hole in your ship with mashed potatoes?
Don't even,
Unless
okay.
You've never had mashed potatoes from an MRE?
Let's also talk science here. They're going to put the mashed potato in the hole. What's on the other side of the hole is space. So
It's gonna suck it right out.
No, it's going to act like quick drying cement. So it's going to be like, what is that thing they have on it's like mashed potatoes is the future's flex tape. So they put it there to stop the leak. They just put it and it instantly froze the mashed potato in place.
Well, it was a temporary fix. What I find entertaining is they're like, well, yeah, you got this such and such repair kit in storage locker 3 or whatever it was, but we're leaking air right away. So you got to plug it with the mashed potatoes so quickly to the fact that he can't just walk over and hand him the tray. He's got to do it with his feet. That was kind of funny.
Yeah. What was bugging me was he used his finger to cover up the hole. So if it was space and they were depressurizing, wouldn't the finger go out the hole and
It
make the
depends
hole
on
bigger?
how bad the leak was. I mean, this obviously wasn't a super hardcore. It's not going to suck your skin out through your blood and guts out through your finger. I mean,
It could.
It was a little sketchy, wasn't it?
I've seen enough movies that it
It would
could.
have been like Alien Resurrection when the alien got pinned up against the hull with the hole in it and got
Yes.
sucked out through the hole.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Very interesting thoughts.
Yes.
It would have made it sound like
I've seen a few tribbles do that.
You plug a hole in space with a Tribble.
Yeah.
It would have been very nasty. It would have made it sound like a blowjob gone bad, and he would have been sucked right on out there.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that was not good.
It was a really, really tiny hole, like micro, to the fact they couldn't see it. They had to literally smoke up the place so they could see where the holes were.
Well, that was the one logical thing they did, is to find out where the holes were is by filling it up with smoke.
They were finding out where the holes were and they were plugging them with their finger.
Because seriously, just like if they rescued, let's say, and they did suck Malcolm through the hole, and then they'd get back to the Enterprise and he'd have to say Patrick's favorite phrase, like, well, what happened to him? It's like, what happened was...
Right.
What happened was...
So,
And then he had that dream sequence.
Oh, that was so
was that this section?
funny.
Or was that
That was this
that
section.
section. It was
Total
so
wet
cute.
It
dream.
was like, oh my God. Hey, I got to say one thing, Heather.
That was our first 69 moment in our 69th episode.
Heather,
Yeah.
stinky.
I don't know. Is that the word you're going to use to turn on a Vulcan? Stinky?
Stinky.
Stinky?
Oh my God.
Well, if you do 69 wrong, it can be stinky.
Oh my goodness.
And is that the first time we saw T'Pol smile? Like, have we seen her smile before?
No, I think that's the first. I don't recall ever her
Well, she
smiling.
didn't really smile. It was kind of like a smirk, maybe.
And she
Is
giggled.
smirk-
She let out.
Yeah.
She let out half a snork.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Although, so this is the funny little kinky Vulcan stuff in this section. There was some serious bits that I thought happened in the dream sequence. They were talking about him being a hero and being courageous. That's something that's deep within Malcolm's psyche. Is he's got to be the hero, right? Is that what that is?
He wants to be the hero. I think you're right.
He's got to be strong. You got to be brave. You can't be, you've got to be selfless. All
Yeah,
those
he's like-
things.
Malcolm is the Vulcan word for serenity. I just figured T'Pol was a Firefly fan.
I was going to say something about that because the captain of Serenity was Malcolm.
And is Malcolm Reynolds.
Mal,
So
yeah.
there you go, Mal.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and it would have been perfect if he laid there in sickbay and just started singing to himself. They needed a hero. I'm the hero to the end of time.
Yeah.
Oh, Oh my God. When T'Pol comes up and they're talking and he's in sickbay in the dream, he says, I can't say that I've ever, and then he looks directly at her breasts and then he looks back up at her and says, ignored you, T'Pol. Are you fucking kidding me? Did you guys notice that?
I did notice. I wasn't looking at his eyes.
Oh.
Well, those things defy gravity. I guess he's waiting for them to sway or move or something.
At least he wasn't looking at her bum.
Well, he's never ignored those.
He said, she's got a great bum. That was funny. He's talking about it. Did you ever look at it? The marvel at it.
He likes all her curves.
Tucker's like, oh.
You know, it's like you ever marvel at it. They could calibrate circles with that thing.
I think we definitely learned one thing about Malcolm for sure. He's a perv.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
In a good way, but he's, he appreciates the female form.
We know his kinks and they're Vulcan.
And he likes to write to a lot of them.
There we go. And he likes them, even in space, they don't sway. So he's into that. But that dream sequence was funny. So it was.
Oh, it was great. That was a good take on that kind of thing.
But then, of course, rude reality wakes up and he's still on the ship. And worst of all, he's dreaming and you have someone else to hear your embarrassing dream. Who's Stinky?
Who the fuck's Stinky, dude? Come on, seriously, tell me.
Was he your roommate? I mean, tell me about the guy.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing.
It was like, wow, who the hell is Stinky?
Well, that's just like, you wake up and you find out you got a big old heart on and you're,
That's what I was thinking. Like, he had to
morning wood in the middle of the day. What?
Yeah.
Excuse me, got to readjust.
or you had a nocturnal emission and, that'd be rather embarrassing.
Thank God we told the kids to leave.
I just say, if you want to find the leak in the ship, he has an emission, you got to track it back to where the hole is. It flies out the ship.
Isn't that basically sticking it through like a glory hole?
A really tiny one.
Well, I mean, some people.
That would be so painful.
And then you impregnate a tardigrade.
And, well, they have the whiskey and everything. They could make it happen.
And they get Tardi-babies.
The Tardi-babies.
Get the tardigrade drunk.
So wait, the whiskey bottles found out this section?
No, that actually happens next section. Yeah, we're just
I
about
thought
there.
the whiskey thing was this section.
Well, I think they found the whiskey, but they didn't get into it yet.
No, they didn't get into it yet. But they, the whiskey where it came from was probably the last episode, Shadows of Pajam, when Archer and T'Pol were taken captive, because they were probably bringing it as a gift, and then they were taken captive, and that's why it was left on the ship.
That's a good thought there. That's probably why. And you notice the bottle looked nice and futuristic, so there was that.
Yeah.
And it was Black Label too, so that was some, that was some good stuff.
And they had a hell of a quick microwave too. That thing was like.
This Shuttlepod is something else. It's got the microwave. It's got a bar. The only thing it doesn't have is fucking backup oxygen.
Or a toilet.
Or a toilet.
Oh, well, you just go in the airlock.
Now talk about stuff you could use. Now talk about stuff you could use to plug the hole. It's like, what the hell are you doing, Michael? Shut up! I'm taking a shit so I can plug the micro hole.
I'm gonna save the both of us.
Unless they were wearing their space diapers.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, they might have been wearing their space diapers.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, is sleeping while you have an oxygen leak, is that wasted use of oxygen?
No, sleeping, actually, you consume less oxygen.
I thought sleeping's a good idea. That's why Trip wanted to get some sleep.
Well, plus that he wouldn't be cranky.
But the homeboy just would not shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and that uses oxygen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's just rambling on to all these real and imagined women that he had been with, It's like,
is this the section where they talked about the waitress, or is that the next section? Okay, let's get to the next section. Yeah.
Was that song's like 44 lines about 88 women?
Damn it, I was going to bring that up.
Lines?
Oh my God, 88 lines about 44 women. That is such a good song.
It is. So that's what he was doing, basically.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, the next section. Sorry, Rocky.
It's all good. Great minds.
Hi, Captain. Act 3, The Ups and Downs of Life. Storyline B. T'Pol shares her findings of the investigation, and Archer decides that they need to contact Reed and Trip so they can meet sooner rather than later. Storyline A. As the hours tick away, Reed and Trip are sharing memories and eventually figure it out that they fucked the same waitress. All of this talk about fucking, gives Trip a hard-on, and he suggests that they lower the temperature, to save oxygen. Hours later, there's more vlogging, fighting, apologizing, and drinking as they reminisce about the memories of their fallen crew. Many, many more hours later, they are sloshed, bundled together, giggling like schoolgirls as they talk about their crush's ass. At that moment, Hoshi phones in, telling them that the Enterprise will pick them up in 2 days. After celebrating that their friends are alive, they are crushed to realize that they only have 1 day of oxygen left, and their communication device is still broken, so they can't tell Hoshi what's going on.
First, to kind of back up a little bit, but this section, we forgot to mention about how Archer once again doesn't believe his science officer. She's like, they're micro black holes. Oh, bullshit. But they're micro black holes. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. You guys are lying. You're making them scary shit. There's no such thing.
You guys don't believe in that. Come on.
It's like, come on, micro black holes. It's like Bigfoot. No, it doesn't exist. And later on, when it does exist, he doesn't go like, oops, sorry.
Yeah, then that's it. It's like,
no shit.
Okay. Sorry.
But oh my God, they get so fucking wasted drinking. I would have loved to see what happened with that too when they get back to the ship for Archer to go, what the hell happened to my bottle?
Yeah, woops. That stuff doesn't grow on trees. You just can't replicate a bottle of booze. Not
Amazon doesn't deliver out this far.
Oh, goodness.
But yeah, they got wasted, but they were talking about the same waitress.
They banged the same waitress, huh?
Isn't that something?
That's small world, San Francisco, I guess.
I'm surprised they found a straight woman in San Francisco.
I was going to say, did Trip get her? Because I thought it felt more like Trip thought he found the woman of his dreams, but didn't close the deal.
I thought they were both fucking at the same time.
I think so.
Whoa, Heather, extra kinky there.
They were.
Oh, I was... Yeah.
They were.
They would have known each other a lot better had they if they'd done that.
know your friend. The buddy system, as it were.
So she had special desserts on the menu.
Yeah, I'd like to see that menu.
Oh, goodness.
It's like, seriously, I found someone that I could be with forever. She could be my love. Oh, you mean the one I banged? Yes.
Several times? Yeah, I knew her several times. Yeah, that was just like, would have been good. Okay, then.
But it shows what buddies they were because he didn't get mad because it was like, it was in the past. It's like, okay.
But they're so opposite, though. Like, I mean, Malcolm is such the pessimist where Trip is, completely...
Oh, yeah. They were getting on each other's nerves, especially Reed getting on Trip because of, the doom and gloom of him.
Yeah.
That would have been annoying.
I'm being a realist. Well, no, you're fucking bringing the ship down, dude.
Yeah, get some hope going.
They basically had the age-old argument of like, what's the difference between optimist, pessimist, and realist? And then we're going to sit here and argue about this for 15 hours about how you are a pessimist and not a realist.
Optimistically, that's how it would go.
Exactly. Whoa, Nathan dropped off.
Oh, good. Well, that's fine. Let's go on without him.
Oh, dang. That is rude. I think one of the dots got him.
It was doing the shimmy and it's the little lingerie and,
It went under his computer desk, and then that's why the computer totally went fried.
It was getting an under desk skirt shot.
It was getting under desk, yeah. Under desk action. Hi, Captain.
That was strange. The dot kicked me offline.
You and your little dot.
It was sure. The dot. We were right.
The dot kicked me offline. What the hell?
Well, you're back.
It ran out of my quarters. I thought I locked the door, and the last thing I hear is going, "Don't dream it. Be he is." It's like, what the hell?
Nice.
And Tissa. Patience.
It's like, okay, that was strange.
You know what else was strange was the hair thing. Reed was shaving.
Yeah.
And then Trip is like, your hair keeps growing after you're dead, right?
And then he stopped and he had half a face that was shaved and half a face that wasn't.
He's going to show up half shaved.
Well, that was funny. That was funny. We didn't realize it. He's like, oh, shit.
Back in sick bay, the Phlox is like, why is your skin like that? Why are you only half shaved?
He thought maybe there was some radiation or something out the window.
He wanted to die young and leave a pretty corpse.
That was so funny on there. Well, he's just being there's a difference between, like you guys were saying, about being pessimist, optimist, and a realist. It's like what they always used to teach us is like you plan for the worst, but hope for the best. And he's just like plan for the worst, hope for the worst.
But you know what? I think we find out, I mean, why, I mean, at least to me, it explained why he was feeling the way he was feeling is because he finally said that he found a family on Enterprise and now they were all gone.
Yeah, this is actually a really deep emotional moment for Reed because he was fitting in somewhere. He really felt like he was home in a place that he could do good at. I thought that was, he found his place.
He didn't even feel like when he was growing up, he didn't feel like it was home, but he found that.
Well, did you see his parents the other episode? Oh my God.
Yeah. His dad was a dick.
Yeah. And the other example of that is all of these goodbye vlogs that he's making are all to people that he didn't know very well, that he only met for a short amount of time and possibly fucked.
Rochelle,
point.
Deborah, Caitlin. It really triggered 88 lines about 44 women.
Right.
Yeah.
It wasn't like anyone like good friends back home type of a thing.
Not lasting relationships.
Yeah, he wasn't doing it, nothing to Hoshi, nothing to the captain, nothing to, you know.
And his letter to the parents was brief. Like, fuck you guys.
and he kept Travis, he kept Trip in the message too. He's arguing with them at the same time. Like, Jesus Christ, you guys are not showing your best face during this message.
No, that you can't say that was Grace under fire.
Not at all.
No.
But they had that big moment. It's like he comes out and says, "Do you really think it's what I want to do is die?" He comes out to that moment, and that was right at the point where he pulls out the candle. They light the candle. Like, really, you're gonna light a candle?
I'll be your candle in the wind.
No open flames in this shuttle pod.
Exactly.
But that moment I thought was a real pivotal moment in their relationship when he basically reveals himself and then he turns around and he goes, "You know what? Lighting this candle may not be a good idea right now."
Yeah, and he puts the candle back out.
When he lit that candle, I'm thinking to myself, dude, okay, come on, physics, you know that candle's going to burn oxygen. You need the oxygen. I'm like, what are you doing?
I'm like, don't they have an app for this? There's an app on my phone that makes a candle.
Right?
Don't they have the lighter app? There's a lighter app you can pull out on your phone. Instead of turning on the flashlight during concerts, you just put the lighter app on. It flicks a virtual dick on the screen. You can wave your phone in the air. I mean,
a virtual dick on the screen? What?
I heard that too.
Don't flip that on the screen.
Like Splee shooting down the street.
But they were drunk. Boy, did they get drunk.
Yeah, they got hammered.
They were pretty gone. And then to drink again, they were buddies because they're drinking from the same bottle, passing it back and forth.
Getting their cooties.
Cups.
And
mixing up the backwash.
Oh, I noticed that. They totally were backwashing together.
Yep.
They had two glasses too. You saw them.
Well,
they had glasses.
I mean, they shared a woman, so why not share spit?
Oh,
yeah. Well, there you go.
You got a good point there.
Yeah. So my question is actually to you guys, if you had the choice, what would you do? Would you do 2 days of being comfortably warm or 2.5 days of freezing?
I was really thinking about this pretty hard because I really do like to be comfortable. I don't want to freeze my ass off when I'm dying. That sucks. But at the same time, you get that much more time in holdout survival. That much more time makes the difference. I think we'd freeze our ass. At least we have a blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could always actually cuddle for warmth.
Yeah.
And you can create friction for warmth.
Well, it depends on who you're with.
Yeah.
Love the one you're with.
But that may use more oxygen, though.
That's true.
Getting space wood on the shuttle.
I love it that they're just listening to this. They're just listening to the staticky radio and drinking bourbon. And the galaxy's not getting any of our bourbon, damn it.
How about you, Captain? And number one, what would you guys choose?
I think I would go for the freezing, although I really hate the cold, but I would want to give as much possibility of being found as could be.
I think what I would do is that I would go for the freezing and then I would slice Patrick open and get inside his body like a tauntaun and then keep warm from his decaying body heat.
Oh,
and
damn.
He would keep me alive.
I'm too tall and slim for you to get in my body. You big fat cow.
There's a reason you bring a couple extra red shirts on a mission.
Oh,
Well, that's true. But yeah, I think. How about you, Heather? What would you have picked?
I would have picked, okay, I am not dying cold. I would have picked warm. And then if this was a choose your own adventure, I would have died because those guys going forward only had 2 hours left and I would have totally died. I would have just died.
Captain, make sure that in the next airlock we blow out, put Heather in it.
Hey!
Oh, damn. Oh, it's like, okay, Heather, since you said you don't want to live that long, how about we just kill you now to save you the torture and the both of us could live 3 days longer?
As long as it's warm.
A warm killing, please.
If we shoot her with a phaser, it'll be warm.
Well, that was the one thing I thought about. If they had a phaser on board, why didn't they like heat up a bulkhead or something for extra heat?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, you'd melt it or something. You know,
I was thinking
the structural integrity. Yeah,
the microsingularities would. Yeah,
I was thinking about that. I thought that would have been cool.
They could heat up the empty whiskey bottle that's made of glass.
Oh, that's true. And it would. That's a really good idea. See, that's why you're a primo science officer. That would have worked.
So there was a deleted scene. It's pretty long, so I'm not really going to go into it. I just want to point out that in that deleted scene, they had Archer jerking his eel. So I just wanted to point that out.
Wait, what?
They had Archer jerking his eel.
Your interpretation is great.
They do, in fact, use that scene in These Are the Voyages. So we do see that later, but they were going to use it in this one, and then they ended up not using it. It was a deleted scene.
Well, I want to see him jerk his eel.
It's not exactly what you think.
But it's what he's doing. Literally.
Oh, my God. Wow, they should have had a disclaimer like we did if they had that on the show.
Not made for kids.
No eels were harmed in the making of this episode.
Yeah, good for the eels.
Some of them really enjoyed it, in fact.
It was a shocking finale.
Electric eel, nice.
Yes, for certain. It was like, I think it mistook the wrong area for the cabin or the cavern.
Well, that's how they blew up the impulse drive with the eel.
Wait, is that this section or is that section? When did they blow it up?
It's coming up. It's not this one. This one, at the end of it, they actually got the radio starts to receive an actual signal.
Oh, that's right. They start getting the transmission.
And then Reed realizes that, oh no, it's like the plane flying over a desert island in a Lost at Sea movie. It's like,
blah 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 blah.
He realizes that
Such a
just
pessimist.
because they're coming back to get us, we're totally dead. They're not going to survive long enough.
Yep.
Again, that's being pessimistic as well. It's like you got to find a way, adapt, improvise, overcome. But no.
Overcome trip. Come over trip. Overcome trip. Come over trip.
You told Trip to come over?
Well, let's move on to the next act.
Then maybe that's what would have happened if they hadn't lowered the temperature.
This is a possibility.
Good
Man
point.
went back in the cave.
Okay, moving on.
The eel went back in its cave.
Looked pretty cold in the shuttlecraft.
Act 4. Being bored sucks. Desperate times call for desperate measures as Reed comes up with an idea to get the Enterprise's attention by blowing up their engine, basically the only engine of the only shuttle pod that Enterprise brought with it. Trip agrees and they enjoy watching the fireworks together. Several hours later, the bro bonding is forgotten as they try to kill each other or themselves. After passing out from the whiskey, Reed wakes up in sickbay, and this time he knows it's not a wet dream when T'Pol rejects him.
That was kind of funny, but also you realize how close they got despite what they wanted, because it's like, all right, I'm going to make sure you live and I'm going to leave out through the airlock.
That was the coolest moment of the whole show for me, because that, all that stuff we were talking about, courage, that's the moment where, and Reed even says, oh God, did I write the line down?
Suicide by airlock?
No. It took too much time to figure you out and something or other.
It was such a good quote.
That's not a quote. That is not canon. But Reed was like, he really realized the kind of guy that Trip was, and he realized that, oh, I like this guy. He's cool, and and because of that, because he's being so fucking courageous, he's gonna go sacrifice himself in the airlock. He's like, no, you're not gonna die. You got to come back down. We got to do this together. I like that little moment right there.
It was.
Oh, it was either that or it was just completely selfish. Where he's like, I don't want to die alone.
Very well could have been.
Too.
Yeah, it's like,
but then he'd have to
bitch, get
stun
down
him.
here. You ain't gonna let me die alone.
He's going to stun him and he's going to die with a guy who's unconscious. And nobody wants that.
It's like, yeah, well, let's die together. We've went through all this bromance, and we've had the same waitress, my God, so we're basically pocket buddies. So let's go out together. Let's Thelma and Louise this bitch.
There you go.
So,
there you
Exactly.
go. And that ship was fully equipped. That little Shuttlepod had micro detonators. It had bourbon. It has everything they need
Except
to go
a
on a little
bathroom.
camping trip. Except for, I'm telling you, that's the airlock. Just go use the airlock. It will just open the door and it'll be fine.
And what are you wiping your butt with?
That's a whole nother issue.
well, maybe the foil that the food came in. I don't know. This is something. But what's cute is that when they do get rescued and Reed wakes up in sickbay and he sees T'Pol and he's like, wants to say stinky.
He's like, come here, baby.
He totally did.
He really, really close to making a complete ass out of himself.
You sexy emotionalist, once in 7 years sex having woman.
Have you guys ever done that though, where you had a dream about someone and you wanted to talk to them about what happened, even though they have no clue what the fuck you're talking about because it was your dream?
Yeah.
Oh, am I the only one? Oh, good. I'm not the only one.
it's happened.
Thinking about it, I don't know if I've actually acted on it.
I've never acted on it, but the desire is really there. Like I really have to hold
'cause
myself
you-
back.
You
Well,
think.
I've had dreams where I relapsed and it was so real that I literally woke up thinking that I had actually relapsed.
Oh, geez.
Oh, that's scary.
That is scary.
Yeah, that is.
No, I'll have dreams where I know they're vivid and I remember them when I wake up, but they don't last after waking up. It's like you kind of forget about it. It doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, mine always do.
Reed was trying his best to make that dream come true because, T'Pol's leaving and he's like, hey, come back. Don't you want to tell me something?
Don't you want to say something about a nice, courageous, armory officer?
About heroics.
Yeah.
On time, my hero. On time, you little stinky.
Hey, come back. Don't you want to suck my dick?
Please.
Paul's like, good night, Lieutenant, and just walks
Yeah.
away. That was so cold.
It's like, I want to do the shocker on you.
But I think it made him happy because he realized it was reality and not a dream. He's like, I'm alive. It's
yeah.
I'm not dead,
And he realizes he made a really good friend for life right there because he's got Trip by his side now.
Oh, I thought you were talking about DePaul.
No, not to Paul.
And of course, she walks out the room, so he had his favorite view of her bum.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's true. He got the good show.
Good thing those blankets are heavy.
Well, the actress talks about that later on about how they
The blankets being heavy?
how they sexualize her character.
Oh, yeah,
like
they did.
later in this series, when she winds up becoming a quote unquote civilian, they were like finding ways to make sure she had deep plunging necklines and this, that, and the other. So she was really kind of upset about that part. But
Yeah. Troy knows all about that.
whoa, yeah, that's for certain. But this was a good episode. But we're gonna find out on the Heather I hate this scale. What did you think?
I would give this on 1 being shitty to 10 being really good. I'd probably rate this 6 or 7.
Wow, we're climbing up the Heather chart.
Yep. I enjoyed it.
It was cool, but it was 2 white guys, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you got the 2 white guy thing, and not much action actually happens on the shuttle. So you got that. Not
Well,
that.
at least none that we saw.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. They might have gotten even closer, but they didn't show that part.
We have to turn the temperature down now.
It's like, are you sure, Commander, this is really going to make us warm? Oh, yes. Just keep quiet and keep looking out the window.
A surest sign that she's not into you is when she reaches for the air conditioner. That's great. That's a new sign I got to look out for now.
It was a good episode.
I'm trying to think where it was the other thing. Oh, the snail story. The slower than a snail thing. I just thought, was that one of our captain's jokes? That felt like one of our captain's stories.
Oh,
I don't think I told a joke in a couple of weeks. No, I'm going to be good. I'm going to give you guys time off from my horrible jokes because apparently, even though there are people out there that like them, you guys are being conscious. You need to hush. I'm sending the dots to your room. I'm tired of them coming in here now. So, next question is, Patrick, what's going on next week?
Next week? Oh, let me see. Why is my pad not working? Come on, pad.
Good, the dot listened.
You're funny. Ha ha ha. Not. Okay, so next week we have, the episode is called Fusion. When Enterprise encounters a ship of Vulcan pilgrims, T'Pol is convinced by one of them to perform a Vulcan mind meld.
Ooh.
Sexy time.
Ooh, I bet Reed's hoping.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. He's going to want to connect to it.
Oh, I remember this episode, and that Vulcan's hot, too. I would have mind melded with him.
So Reed does get a Vulcan fling on next episode.
No, it's not Reed. It's another Vulcan.
It's only Vulcan on Vulcan action.
Oh, okay.
Which I have to laugh about because last night I was watching some of the old Voyager shows, and I watched the one where the guy in engineering got Ponfar and started to attack B'Elanna. Yeah, it was a funny episode.
And just a little trivia on next week's episode, we have Captain Kirk's father, Robert Pine, will be on the episode.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he does do a lot of little Trek stuff, so that's going to be pretty cool.
Like actual real father in real life.
Real father in real life.
Chris Pine's father, Robert Pine, who most people would know from Chips back in the day. But yeah, he's going to be in this episode.
Cool.
Yeah.
It was a good episode on a Heather scale. We're definitely moving up. We might even make her like the song.
No, that will never happen. No, because last night I heard the song and I started cursing at it again.
So that's good. We're going to have to add that. So don't forget, thank you for joining us. Make sure you join our Patreon so you can get all kinds of exclusive goodies. And so you'll be able to get our postcards, our Tribbles being neutered, and as well as the nudes that may or may not be really our nudes, but the only way you could tell is by getting on that section and taking a look. We're going to also be on our sister broadcast in the next month or so. We're going to be making a special voyage over to the Yum Yum Pod. So you'll be able to hear us on that coming up as well. So thank you so much for listening to us and joining our wonderful show. And be safe out there and just don't have a great week, but make it so.
And if you can, support the show by going to patreon.com/Starfleet Underground. Lots of perks to choose from, and you might even like some of them. Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.